Welcome to the 30th episode of Toast the Toss with your new host Arijit, because our regular host Suraj, he is on a vacation. And it has been quite a disappointing Sunday for most of the Indian cricket fans, given that the Indian team could not make it to the semis of the World Cup 2022. However, we have three brave men and sad fans who are joining us today. Sad because India could not make it. And they will be telling us about their emotions and what went underway during today's match. So our first guest today is Suvam. Suvam has been delighting the audience or the viewers of this podcast with his opinion and his fancy headgear. Welcome, Suvam, to our episode. Next, we have Tejas, the man in blue, who is generally in red, but today, for some reason, he's in blue. And probably about his sentiments about Monday or the women's team not making it to the semi-finals. And then we have Bidhu back in Delhi, where it is becoming increasingly hot. So welcome, guys. And we'll start with Tejas. Tejas, what transpired today and what makes you feel sad today about?
It is a bittersweet moment for me. I mean, of course, for everyone, it is a bitter pill to swallow. But I was at a restaurant when the last over played out. I was having really nice lunch, and I was also watching the game, on my phone. The craziest thing happened that all the waiters over there in the restaurant, they came in and they were watching India versus South Africa Women's World Cup semi-finals. I mean, that I don't think it was unimaginable for me 10 years ago that the interest for the women's game can be this much, so that at a public place in a restaurant, all the waiters, I mean, the place was full and they had orders to serve, right? But still, they came in and they were watching the game on my little phone screen. I was really happy because that is the kind of interest that the whole World Cup has generated. It's incredible. But what transpired later, in matter of 5 minutes, literally broke my heart. I was jumping around when Deepti Sharma got that wicket when they needed 3 of 2. I was literally jumping around. But then what transpired later literally broke my heart. I mean, post that, I'm struggling to comprehend my thoughts and talk about what really happened and really cut it for the team. I think they poured their heart out for there. Whether they were good enough to qualify for this semis or not, maybe that's not the discussion for today. It's just the heartbreak and the kind of quality of cricket that transpired today. It made me happy and it also made me sad.
Okay, Tejas, thanks for telling us about your experience in a restaurant where the Indians women team has a lot of fans and the heartbreak portion of it. But let's not go to the heartbreak so directly. India did bat well. They scored about 274 runs. Suvam, can you describe the innings for us? Short. Like, what did you enjoy about India's batting today?
Mithali was batted against one of the fastest bowlers, Sabnim Ismail. The 3/4 in an over where he moved around the crease and played one of the fastest bowlers. So that might have turned the innings on, and he became the youngest to score half century for India in a World Cup match. So the 10 overs where India scored 91 runs was set the innings, and then the partnership between Tulsi Mandan and Mithali Raj. Mithali Raj has been criticized in this World Cup for not making runs or even when she did, it is often said that the striker was played today brilliantly. It is often, if we look more closely, even the oldest Indian to score a half century in a World Cup match. On the very in Mithali made her debut in 2000, and the same ground when she scored her first World Cup half century against the same opponent, South on 30th of November. India went in to win that match by 8 wickets, but against the same opponent and the same ground, she made a half century and India lost. But having that partnership was something where India could look up to more than 300 runs in last 10 or 15 overs. But again, that didn't come off. The South Africa bowled where they could only concede 51 runs. Harmanpreet Kaur and Snehrana and Pooja were the main strikers. Didn't get off with the shoulder, and the run was, I felt that as India was playing one of 10 or 15 runs short, but then again 275 to win was second highest total to be chased in a. So India batted really well today, but in the maybe it was not enough for them.
Yeah, sure. To be honest, I felt that the 274 that India scored just about the par scored. Like I did not last time when they were playing against Australia last week, I thought 274, 275 was under par. But this time I felt that no, this seems to be a just score and they can defend it. But that was not the case. So Bidhu, can you tell us about your views about the bowling part of it? Like where did you find that India was found wanting, or where they could have made some changes to see a very different result and happier faces amongst our panelists?
Look, I was disappointed with the overall strategy, not for this game, since the game against Australia, because once they brought back Safali Verma in and they kept Yastika Bhatia at number 3, it meant they are going with 5 bowlers, and that is not sufficient. Today also, you could see there was 1 bowler short, and the only reason why he did not feel it that much was because Harmanpreet Singh came in, and Harmanpreet Kaur came in and took 2 wickets, and she nullified the lack of 1 more bowler. So this target of 270 that we are referring to, India has told that they are targeting 270 runs since last 1 year. When they were touring Australia and New Zealand, they were saying we are targeting 270. But right now, when you are factoring in that Jhulan Goswami is not in, they're going with 5 bowlers. The spinners, which India is so heavily dependent on, are going to bowl on a wet wicket. Then you have to score that extra 20-25 runs. And given that your batting lineup is so strong, I thought they did not do justice to the putting runs on the board. And I'm not going to go into the fielding part. You saw there was a drop catch. There were a couple of fielding mistakes. And you know what happened? The Dipti Sharma was not a regular feature in this entire tournament. And this is a small thing, but it also accounts for her bowling that no ball. If she would have played all the matches, she would have been in her rhythm. And this particular no ball thing might not have happened, because I am sure she would have bowled a couple of no balls earlier. And the reason they were not spotted because she did not take a wicket. And once she took a wicket, the umpire went upstairs to check the no ball, and it was a no ball. So into this clutch situations, if you are trying to get the players, you have to give them a good run of form instead of putting them in the back end of the tournament. So they had very simple tasks. They just had to defeat one of Australia, New Zealand, England, and South Africa, and they could not defeat anyone. So it's okay not to go to semis.
But they did try hard. You cannot take that away from the ladies. However, I also felt that South Africa was the smarter of the 2 teams today. Tejas, very briefly, can you tell us about what did you like about South Africa's game strategy from today's match?
I think the captaincy was done brilliantly. And of course, it helps that they have ace in the hole like Shabnam Ismail. They can call her in any time. And in the last 7 hours, I think her last 7 hours, she only gave away 10 runs. So when the time was right for Mithali and Harman to accelerate, then they brought in Ismail. Although she had only 4 hours left, the captain really thought hard, and she knew that now is the time to attack Mithali and Harman, and let's restrict them below 300, because let's be honest, at 30 over mark we were 171 for 1, I think. So 171 for 2, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, I think the captaincy was really smart, and bringing back Ismail was a masterstroke.
Yeah, they just took off the pace of the ball, and that worked wonders for the team. Okay, India's World Cup has come to a sad end, but Suvam, what did you like the most about the whole Indian contingent in this World Cup campaign?
The way the tailenders or the all-rounders, not the tailenders, but the all-rounders came up in this World Cup, it has been a brilliant, because one of the factors that India lacked for last couple of years, that they do not have any proper all-rounders. So, but in form of Snehrana, maybe Snehrana and Pooja Vastakar were not in good touch today. They didn't deliver as much they were expected to do. But we see in the match against Pakistan, or in the match against West Indies or Bangladesh, where India won the match, either Snehrana or Pooja Vastakar have done pretty well, either with the bat or the ball. And the second thing is, India has not gone with Shikha Pandey, one of the experienced pacers after Jhulan Goswami in this tournament. And despite of the fact, both Meghna Singh and Pooja Vastakar did well in the matches they got chances. Meghna Singh, Pooja Vastakar was brilliant against New Zealand. Meghna Singh bowled well against, I think, Australia, or against England, sorry, not Australia. So bowling department, the pace bowling department is coming up the rank. And the top order, but the young cricketers like Shefali Verma, Yastika Bhatia, and they are playing their first World Cup, so and they have scored runs when it was needed. They made partnerships in when India needed them for the most. And Harmanpreet Kaur making a comeback in her form and scoring those centuries for the silver lining for me.
Okay, great. And you spoke about young players, and Bidhu, very briefly, tell us that, in your opinion, do you think this is the swan song of some of the cricketing stalwarts of Indian women's cricket team, that is Mithali Raj and Jhulan Goswami, or do you think they have more to deliver?
I think batting wise, we have the firepower. Mithali Raj, it's up to her to decide how long she wants to play. But even if she chooses to take a break, I don't think batting will get any weaker. It's just that Yastika and Safari, they have to a little bit improve the fielding a bit. Apart from that, I don't think even Dipti Sharma was not been picked, but she can bat as well in the top 6. So batting is taken care of. But I would prefer Jhulan Goswami to stay at least one more year, because the young fast bowlers are very, very young, and they do require some level of guidance. So if she can stay, at least in some capacity, even if she's not playing all the matches, and she can just put an arm around Pooja Vastakar, Meghna Singh, and just let them understand the nuances of 50 over game, T20 game, it would be really great. I also enjoyed Mithali Raj's captaincy today, because I feel it was a lot of cat and mouse game it was going on. She knew Diru was going to come, and she has to choose between whether to finish the spinners quota early or to keep them towards the back end. And she had to choose. She chose that the spinners had to stay back. And Rajashree Gaikwad did pick a wicket, but it was just a bit late. She did give away 2-3 boundaries, and that hurt. And second is, you can see the field was completely spread out, and that helped the game to the last over. And she was not bringing the fielders in. It was a tough choice to make, but she ensured the game went on to the last game. So that says a lot about her captaincy. and I think she was a great captain, at least in this particular match. So Indian team would definitely miss her as a captain.
To be honest, like I personally found the game very interesting, and the captaincy was great. Only thing that I would not have considered the defeat as much had not India been not able to qualify. Had it been earlier last week, I would have still been very happy about the outcome of the match. But sadly, it was not to be the same. Moving on, we will be discussing about the semi-finalists for the Women's World Cup, and we have Australia, we have South Africa, we have England, and then we have the West Indies. Australia would be playing West Indies, and South Africa would be playing against England. So guys, your views about South Africa versus England. Who do you think holds the edge? Any one of you?
Yeah.
Tejas?
Yeah. And given that South Africa have won a lot of matches, but they still haven't played their best cricket. They haven't peaked yet. And I saw a little bit of, a refined sort of cricket today against India. It was not easy chasing 275. And the way the openers batted, the way they paced their innings throughout, and the way they finished also shows me that they're getting into the groove and they're peaking at the right time. On the other hand, England's journey has been quite difficult, and they've been awful in the field. And I'm mincing no words here because I've watched a couple of matches. A few really simple chances have been missed, and they really don't look like someone who are who are coherent as a team. So I'd say, given the current form and South Africa peaking at the right time, I'll probably pick South Africa to win against.
I understand your concern, but their Pacers are showing great form. Like they are winning matches left and right from after the humiliations of the first 2 weeks. They seem to have found pace and they are taking the wickets. So, do you think the Pacers can help? Can be better than that of South Africa? Their bowling attack can be better than that of South Africa.
Depends. I think if there is a little bit of swing on offer initially, then they'll be deadly. I think someone like Shopsol and all the other bowlers as well, right? So they rely more on swing. If it swings, then they're definitely in the game. But if we compare, person to person or roster to roster, I'd say South Africa holds the edge.
Okay. And the next question is for who do you think will be the winners between Australia and West Indies? Very difficult question.
It would be interesting if West Indies squeeze one victory. I mean, in the hindsight, if we see the South Africa West Indies game, anyone, if we would have won the game, if South Africa would won the game, West Indies would have been eliminated. I mean, India would have been in top 4. And if West Indies could have won, which actually looked like, because West Indies had taken the top 4 wickets in within 6 overs. And if West Indies have won, South Africa would definitely have approached this game as a must-win game for them as well. But luck favored West Indies, and if they can fight one more day and do some individual brilliance, because they have these individual players, they just pick out some wonderful catches, someone scoring a quick fire 65-70, and they might just outsmart Australia, and then it would be very, very interesting to see what they do in the finals.
Okay. Okay, so thanks for telling us about your views about the. Now I will be asking about the players who impressed you the most. So I will be just giving like departments or like bowlers. I will be asking questions and you have to tell me like who was the most impressive bowler or batsman during the whole day. So let's start with that with Suvam. Suvam, your favorite batsman during the league stage? the batswoman, sorry.
It will be difficult to choose among the so many great batters out there.
Your favorite,
But I think
your favorite.
my favorite would have been Laura Woolworth, because the way the consistency she has shown throughout this World Cup with 5 half centuries in 7 innings has been phenomenal. And we need to remember that Lizelle Lee is not firing up in the order, or neither the number 3 batters of them until this India versus South Africa match. So the pressure was on Laura Woolworth, and she delivered it well. In almost the half centuries she has scored, and South African batting order is completely dependent on if 2 or 3 batters in upper order, Laura Woolworth would have been the one. So I think
Okay.
Laura Woolworth have impressed me more. Yeah.
Okay. Bidhu, your favorite batswoman from the league stages?
Mine would be Harmanpreet Kaur, because there was a lot of noise about her, whether she was the right person to get selected or not. She had not scored a century since 2017 in 50 overs cricket. And the way she turned things around since the last tour of New Zealand, the last game she started scoring runs. In the warm-up, she scored a century. In the tournament games, she scored a 50 in a losing cause, then scored 100. And today also a quick 548. So, and also she is batting at number 5, which is not her preferred position. And she had to play for different situations. Sometimes she had to finish the game. Sometimes she had to come in early. And the way she had responded to the requirement of the team, I think hats off to her. Real champion.
Okay. Tejas, yours, very shortly and why?
I cannot really look beyond Meg Lanning. I think she's been incredible throughout the tournament. I think the 2 chases that she had against, I think one against us and the other one was against South Africa, if I'm not wrong. Both were incredible innings. She showed how to pace an innings and how to chase a stiff target. She, for me, easily the best batsman in the league.
Okay. Bidhu, your favorite pacer from the league stage?
I don't have a favorite pacer. I have a favorite bowler though, if that would.
No, I will get into it. Okay, your favorite bowler?
So I liked how Sophie Ecclestone has turned things around for England. In the last 4 wins that England have, she has picked 3 wickets in all the games, and all their games are low-scoring games. So I feel she is the reason why England have turned things around, and she is right now the highest wicket taker. So I will go with Sophie Ecclestone.
Okay. So just because you changed the intent of my question, I will be posing the question a little differently. Which team's spin attack has impressed you the most? Tejas and Suvam both can have a go at it.
Spinners, I'd say I'm a huge fan of Rajeshwari Gaikwad. Maybe she doesn't have the wickets to show, but she has bowled really economical spell, barring today, but she's been wonderful. I think the way she flights the ball and defeats the batter through the air, it's incredible skill to have. Although she doesn't have the wickets to show, I think Rajeshwari Gaikwad has led the spin attack really well to me.
Shubham, according to you, the best spin attack.
To me, it's the spin attack of Bangladesh and Pakistan have done really well. And if you look at Bangladeshi bowling attack or Bangladesh is very much dependent on like any other subcontinent side. Bangladesh is very much dependent on their spin bowling attack. And from this perspective, in all the World Cup matches, they haven't went for many runs. And even if I have not checked, but if I'm not very wrong, I think they haven't conceded more than 270 in any of the matches. And the way they have respected the middle overs and control the middle overs, led by Salma Khatun, and Salma Khatun very much. And in one of the matches, there was another off spinner who did well. So I think to me, Bangladesh spinners have impressed me much. And another person to get mentioned, that was Charlie Dean from England, who has impressed me a lot. against the match against in India, she has picked up 4 wickets, and against the side who plays spin very well. And she also so these are the 2 factors, or the spin attack of Bangladesh, and more specifically Charlie of England have impacted.
Okay, great. And that brings us to the end of the episode. And we hope that by the end, by next week, we have our regular host back asking questions, posing questions to you. And he brings his usual flair and charisma to impress one and all. On that note, okay, the IPL has started. And we all are looking forward to it, but the Women's World Cup has been the cherry on the cake and has got more eyeballs rolling. So it goes to the credit of all the women who have participated in the World Cup and given us such wonderful matches right early in the morning. So that would give us a lot of to look forward to the day. And okay, then, ladies and gentlemen, that's all from us. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.